Okay, perfetto.
Okay, thank you very much to be here now. And I will speak about sustainable and healthy diet because I know that you have speak about this argument, but not in particular we have not a particular explanation of this theme. So I don't know why I can't, okay, I can't to go out. I have to speak you about Agenda 2030, which is a resolution adopted by the WACO General Assembly and involved all stakeholders to commit to act in a collaborative partnership in order to make sustainable development happen toward 2030. You know that this agenda is intended to be a plan of action of people, planet, and prosperity. And it's a set of universal and transformative goals and targets aiming to, in particular, end poverty and hunger everywhere, combat inequalities within and among countries, build a peaceful, just, and inclusive societies, protect human rights, promote gender equality and empowerment of women and girls, and ensure the lasting protection of the planet and its natural resources. No one will be left behind. So the finality is to create conditions for sustainable, inclusive, and sustained economic growth, share prosperity and decent work for all, taking into account different levels of national development and capacity. So the agenda is composed by 17 goals and 169 targets integrated and indivisible to balance the three dimensions of sustainable development, in particular social, economical, and environmental. Here you can see the 17 goals. And in the goal, you can see the role of the food system and the goal regarding diet and organization of food system. In particular, the goal number 2 is zero hunger, and achieve in particular food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. We know that food must be sufficient, safe, accessible, and nutritious. Putting a number on hunger, we have to say that between 691 and 783 million people faced hunger in the last 2 years. About 29.6% of global population were moderately on severely food insecure in 2022. Asia is home to the majority of people facing hunger, but also in Africa and in Latin America, in particular 38% in Africa and 6% in Latin America suffer from hunger. And also Caribbean is a zone of malnutrition. Hunger disproportionately affects people living in rural and in particular regard women. It is projected that almost 600 million people will be chronically undernourished in 2030. These data are data of Food Agriculture Organization, FAO, are data of 2023, and FAO is used a particular statistical method that measures the severity of the food insecurity experienced by people in an international comparable manner. So these data are very attainable and regard all population in the world. And you can see here that the global hunger estimation in 2022 is still far above pre-COVID pandemic levels, but is not very, very good. Affordability to healthy diet is becoming more critical, especially to the households living in peri-urban and rural areas. And a particular role is played by agri-food system. Agri-food systems are highly vulnerable to shocks and disruption arising from conflicts. For example, we saw the Ukrainian war as an important problem regarding the agri-food, and climate variability and extremes, economic contraction, and global crisis, as for example, the COVID-19 pandemic. These factors, combining with urbanization, keep challenging the capacity of agri-food systems to deliver nutritious, safe, affordable diets for all. Moreover, consumption of highly processed foods is now increasing in peri-urban and rural areas in some countries, whereas consumption of vegetable, fruits, and fats and oils is becoming more uniform across the rural-urban continuum. So it is necessary to understand how the rural-urban continuum and agri-food interact to overcome the challenges and seize the opportunities. A challenge for the future is to understand the distribution of undernutrition and the overweight and obesity in particular countries, and to know that non-communicable chronic diseases are diet related, and so we have to prevent these diseases. And the prevention is regard the individuals, the households, and the whole population throughout all the life. The world population is increasing, and so we have to prevent in the future the situation of under and overnutrition. So I introduced the concept of sustainable healthy diets. And you can see here the definition of a sustainable, healthy diet. Is dietary patterns that promote all dimensions of individual's health and well-being, have low environmental pressure and impact, are accessible, affordable, safe, and equitable, and are culturally acceptable. So you can see 4 points, 4 important points related with health, with environmental pressure, and the accessibility, the economic possibility for all, and the acceptation, the cultural acceptation. So we have to consider a better production, a better nutrition, a better environment, and better life. The aims of sustainable healthy diets are achieve optimal growth and development of all individuals and support functioning and physical, mental, and social well-being at all life staging of the life for present and future generations, contribute to preventing all forms of malnutrition in defect and in excess, support the preservation of biodiversity and planetary health, and reduce the risk of diet-related non-communicable chronic diseases, which are for example, obesity, diabetes, atherosclerosis, and cancer. An important epidemiological study published in 2015 evidenced that 11 million deaths and 255 million of disability-adjusted life year were attributable to dietary risk factors. And in particular, these 3 factors, a high intake of sodium is the first cause of death and disability. Low intake of whole grains and low intake of fruits. So in particular, this study evidenced that the deaths and diseases are related to a poor diet, a diet poor of protective elements, in particular, whole grains, fruits, nuts and seeds, vegetable, omega-3 fatty acid, fiber, legumes. So you can see a diet poor of these elements is more dangerous than a diet rich of some foods we consider not healthy. For example, red meat, processed meat, you can see here, and trans fat. So it's more important to have an intake of protective foods than to eliminate non-protective foods. And here you can see the 16 elements of a sustainable, healthy diet, regarding in particular the health aspect, the environmental impact, and the socio-cultural aspects. Now we read together all points. In particular, point 1, a healthy diet start early in life with the early initiation of breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding, if possible, until 6 months of age and continue until 2 years and beyond, combined with the appropriate complementary feeding. Point 2, a healthy diet are based on a great variety of unprocessed or minimally processed foods, balanced across food groups, while restricting highly processed foods and drink products. In particular, when we talk about processed food, we consider foods with almost 5 ingredients. A non-processed, unprocessed food is a simple food. For example, fish or meat or vegetables. It is a simple food. Bread, for example, it is not a simple food, is a minimally processed food because there is flour, water, oil, so 3 ingredients is a processed food, but minimally processed food. The very high processed food is the industrial foods and contain more than 5 ingredients. An healthy diet includes whole grains, legumes, nuts, and abundance of variety of fruits and vegetables. In particular, this kind of diet is our Mediterranean diet, but in the world, the Mediterranean model is an example, but we have other dietary pattern, for example, Dutch diet or Nordic diet are similar to our Mediterranean diet. The important is the presence of these protective foods. An healthy diet can include moderate amounts of eggs, dairy, poultry, and fish, and small amounts of red meat. Include safe and clean drinking water as the fluid of choice. Is very important to drink water and not sugar drinks, for example, or alcoholic drinks. And healthy diets are adequate in energy and nutrients necessary for growth and development and to meet the needs for an active and healthy life across the life cycle. And it is adequate, important, adequate, not defect, but not excess of energy, because they are related to undernutrition and overnutrition, obesity, overweight, which are related with diabetes and cardiovascular or cancer. Cardiovascular diseases or cancer. Healthy diets are consistent with WACO guidelines to reduce the risk of diet-related not communicable chronic diseases and ensure health and well-being for the general population. Contain minimal levels or no one, if it's possible, of pathogens, toxins, and other agents that cause foodborne disease. maintain greenhouse gas emissions, water and land use, nitrogen and phosphorus application and chemical pollution within the set targets. This is very important for the environment system. Preserve biodiversity, including that of crops, livestock, forest-derived foods, and aquatic genetic resources, and avoid overfishing and overhunting. Minimize the use of antibiotics and hormones in food production. Minimize the use of plastics and derivatives in food packaging. Reduce food loss and waste, and this is a very important point, are built on and respect the local culture, culinary practice, knowledge and consumption patterns, and values on the way food is sourced, produced, and consumed. In particular, in Italy, we have the Mediterranean culture, so Mediterranean diet respect these characteristics. An healthy diets are accessible and desirable. Avoid adverse gender-related impacts, especially with regards to time allocation for buying and preparing food, water, for acquisition. And you can see here the healthy eating plate studied by Harvard Medical School. The Harvard plate is very famous in nutritional contest, and you can observe a plate in which we have whole grains, healthy protein, fruits and vegetables, healthy oils, and not only olive oil, which is very healthy, but also canola oil, for example, used in the Nordic diet, is a good oil. Drink water, tea or coffee with little or no sugar, limit milk, dairy, 1-2 servings a day, and juice, 1 small glass day, not in, we have not in Mediterranean diet this recommendation. Avoid the sugary drinks, eat a variety of whole grains, and choose fish, poultry, beans, and nuts, this healthy protein. And avoid bacon, cold cuts, and other processed meats. The challenge of achieving healthy diets is coupled with the challenge of attaining sustainable food systems. While food production contributes to natural resource depletion and diets should improve to overcome malnutrition, sustainable food and consumption and production could also be considered an opportunity for enhancing human health and environmental sustainability, which is the impacts, the environmental impacts of food. The global food system is the largest freshwater user. In particular, agriculture alone accounts for 70% of fresh water withdrawn in the world. Agriculture is responsible for 37% of total greenhouse gas emissions and covers approximately 51% of globalized free land surface, with emissions estimated 7.1 gigantons of carbonic anhydride per annum, represents 14.5% of human induced gas emissions and the livestock sector plays an important role in climate change. In particular, intensive and unsustainable agricultural, fishing, and animal farming practice and pollution can also trigger biodiversity loss. Now, in particular, the point 12, to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns, is an important point related with also the food system. Here you can see the environmental effects by food groups in 2010 and 2050 on various health systems based on business as usual projection for consumption and production. You can see here the greenhouse gas emission, the cropland use, the freshwater, nitrogen application, and phosphorus application of the several groups of foods. In particular, you can see that animal products are related with great gas emissions in particular, and all the food system is related with an important environmental effect. In particular, ruminant meat is, and not only, but also pork, chicken in little measure, ruminant meat is the most important food on environmental system. Here we have environmental effects per serving of food produced, and in particular you can observe a very important energy use in production of meat in general, but also dairy eggs. But land use and greenhouse gases are in particular related with ruminant meat. So a dietetic pattern with less amount of red meat is also different in environmental impact. You can see here a comparison between omnivore diet, a vegetarian diet, ovo milk vegetarian diet, and a vegan diet. Vegan diet is the dietetic pattern with less, with a minor environmental impact, followed by vegetarian, pescatarian, and so low meat intake, middle meat intake, and high meat intake are related with major emissions. Difference of species are related with a different global estimate of emission. Beef and cattle milk production account for the majority of emission, respectively. Other pigs, for example, buffalo, chicken, and other poultry. A sustainable patterns in livestock aims to reduce greenhouse gas emission while improving productivity in order to contribute to climate change mitigation food security, and economical. This means that the potential can be achieved as a result of improving practice rather than changing production system. How we can to improve the production efficacy? For example, improve production at animal and herd levels, improve the quality of feed and feed balancing to lower enteric and manure emissions, improve the breeding and animal health through vaccines and genetics selection methods, improve manure management practice that ensure the recovery and recycling of nutrients and energy contained in manure. Another important point, and it is the 14th goal, is conserve and sustainability use of the sea and the oceans, and preserve the blue, protect the earth. Is very important to sorry. Okay, to protect our seas from the acidification, from the illegal, unreported, unregular fishing, and from the plastic pollution, and from the crustacean work nose, in particular. By 2020, sustainability manage and protect marine and coastal ecosystem to avoid the significant adverse impacts, including by the strengthening their resilience and take action for their restoration in order to achieve healthy and productive oceans. Is very important to regulate harvesting and overfishing, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing and destructive fishing practices, and implement science-based management plans in order to restore fish stock in the shortest time feasible, at least to levels that can produce maximum sustainable yield and determined by their biological characteristics. So by 2020, prohibit certain forms of fisheries subsidies which contribute to overcapacity and overfishing, eliminate subsidies that contribute to illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, and refrain from introducing new such subsidies, recognizing that appropriate and effective spatial and different treatment for developing and less developed countries should be an integral part of the World Trade Organization fisheries subsidy negotiation. Another important point is to provide access for small-scale artisanal fishers to marine resource and markets. In particular, we tend to consume only a small quantity of a small quantity of species are more requested by the market, and we have to provide to access to a small scale artisanal fish. And by 2030, increase the economic benefits to small highland developing states and less developed countries from the sustainable use of marine resources, including through sustainable management of fisheries, aquaculture, and tourism. Point number 2, zero hunger, end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Sustainable agriculture is possible And by 2030, the objective is double the agricultural productivity and incomes of small-scale food producers, and in particular, women, indigenous peoples, family farmers, and pastoralists and fishers. Increase investment, including through enhanced international cooperation in rural infrastructure, agricultural research and extension services, technology development, and plant and livestock gene banks in order to enhance agricultural productive capacity in developing countries, and in particular least developed countries. Agri-food system transformation is a transformation by urbanization, lifestyle changes, and demographic shifts. Is a transformation on the cost of a healthy diet. We have to consider that the cost of healthy diet is over budget for low and middle income households. Consumers are increasingly exposed to highly processed food, and different technological and innovative foods and environmental solutions can reduce highly processed food consumption. So now, a great part of population is not good, is not have not access to healthy, good food. In particular, you can see here, for example, in this photo, in urban and peri-urban settings, billion of people consume street foods every day. And street food is not particularly healthy. It's necessary to improve the nutritional quality and safety of these foods. And this includes ensuring a supply of water of acceptable quality for food preparation, clean places for preparation and consumption, and in particular, attention on sanitary facility and worker. A great part of this street food is not controlled in terms of sanitary situation, sanitary state, and security, macrobiological security, and nutritional security. The availability of fruits and vegetables for subject is insufficient to meet the requirements of a healthy diet in most parts of the world. It is essential to boost the production of nutrition foods and, in general terms, support the diversification of food production. Policy incentives are necessary to encourage shops to stock and sell greater amounts of fresh and minimally processed food, for instance, by improving the cold storage facility, while the availability of healthy foods outlets, and in particular areas across the rural-urban continuum, can be improved through land use planning and zoning regulation, tax credits, or exemption and licensing agreements. Innovation in food packaging are needed due to a growing demand of packaged and prepared food. New technology may contribute to maintain the quality, safety, and nutritional values of food products, meet consumer need and preference, reduce food loss and waste, and reduce the cost of nutritional food, especially across longer distribution chains. Sustainable agriculture aims to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, while integrating three main goals: environmental, health, economic, and social goals. 5 key principles of sustainability for food and agriculture are the increased productivity, employment, and value addition in food system, protect and enhance natural resources, improve livelihoods and foster inclusive economic growth, enhance the resilience of people, communities, and ecosystems, and adapt governance to new challenge. The 12 objective ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. Regards implement the 10-year frameworks and programs on sustainable consumption and production patterns, all countries taking action, taking into account the development and the capabilities of developing countries. By 2020, achieve the environmental sound management of chemicals and all wastes throughout their life cycle in accordance with agreed international frameworks, and significantly reduce their release to air, water, and soil in order to minimize the adverse impact on human health and environment, is a goal to achieve the sustainable management and efficient use of natural resources. We have to reduce waste generation, help per capita global food waste at retail and consumer levels, and reduce food losses along production and supply chains. And by 2030, ensure that people everywhere have the relevant information and awareness for sustainable development and lifestyles in harmony with nature. Putting a number on food waste, we have to know that around 131 million tons of food waste was generated in 2019, of which 61% from households, 26% from food system service, and 13% from retail. So a very high percentage is from households, but another important number of food waste regard the food service. An estimated 17% of total global food production may be wasted, and 8–10% of global greenhouse gas emission is estimated to be associated with food that is not consumed. So this is an important point because the food waste is related to gas emission and related with a not consumed food. If we reduce the food waste, we have to improve the impact on environmental system, and we know that it is very important to involve in the process in particular high-income countries, but also upper middle and lower middle-income countries. It's very singular to see these data because we have the idea that the food waste is more regarding the high income countries, but it is not so. Lower middle income countries demonstrated a 91 kilograms capita years of average food waste and a major quantity of food waste in respect to high income or upper middle income countries. In high-income countries, we have data also of the food waste in food service and retail, and in other countries, data are insufficient. Household food waste per capita is similar across high income, upper middle, and lower middle. It is a very I think, interesting data. How to calculate food waste? We have two indexes, the food loss index and the food waste index. The food waste index presents advantages and limitations. Advantages are the measures total food loss rather than specific commodities, and measures manufacturing foods loss for complex food products. And three sectors are covered: food, retail, food service, and households. But limitations are includes both food destined for human consumption and its associated inedible parts. Users modeling to provide approximate estimated with measurement are not available. Requires accurate and traceable and comparable measurement. The evidence presented in the Food Waste Index Report 2021 has demonstrated that food waste, particularly at the household level, was substantial across countries worldwide. Consumer food waste took place largely in developed countries, while production, storage, and transportation losses when concentrated in developing countries. Food waste means all of the environmental impacts of food production without any of the benefits of people being fed. With widespread food insecurity for many hundreds of millions around the globe, addressing food waste is a critical issue to creating low-impact, healthy, and resilient food system. One Health approach is an integrated unifying approach that aims to sustainably balance and optimize the health of people, animals, and ecosystem. And it is promoted by the Food Agriculture Organization, and it is a part of agri-food system transformation for the health of people, animals, plants, and the environment. This involves a spectrum of actors and work on sustainable agriculture, animal, plant, forest, and aquaculture health, food safety, antimicrobial resistance, food security, nutrition, and livelihoods. A One Health approach is also critical to anticipate, prevent, detect, and control diseases that spread between animals and humans for achieving the sustainable development goals. And here you can see the 5 points. We have The food waste index report estimates that 61% of food waste generated on 2019 came from households. What can we do? Now I will speak to you about two projects in our university in cooperation with Commerce Chamber of Genoa. I know that in last week sorry, but had a lesson with Monica Delle Piane, Dr. Monica Delle Piane of Chamber of Commerce, and we cooperate with the Italian Society of Human Nutrition in a project for sustainable and healthy diet. In particular, we have developed important project with Genova Liguria gourmet restaurants and cooks in order to illustrate the role of Mediterranean diet and typical foods in a sustainable food system. And I think that you know our experience, vivi l'esperienza sostenibile, storie di sostenibilità di Genova Liguria Gourmet. I'd like to describe you in particular a project in collaboration with dietistic course of degree, and in particular this study of parameters for sustainable certification in the Ligurian territory. In particular, we want to identify particular parameters to certificate the restaurants as sustainable restaurants, involving some professional figures such as dietitian, and in particular in cooperation also with engine in the University of Genoa. The goal of the project is to create a document, in particular undisciplinary of production, with a particular point associated with a point of sustainability. In particular, for example, we can attribute 1 point in a basic sustainable restaurant, 2 points to a intermediate level, and 3 points to advanced level. And this score is studied in relation to the application of the principles of healthy diet, of sustainable diet, and in particular with particular attention, for example, to the gas emissions of all studied plate, and The target is the definition of the parameters intended as foundation of Genova Liguria Gourmet Certification specification. So you can see here the particular point related with a virtual system. Tradition, local products, seasonality, products from short supply chain, from local supply chain recognized with a recognized geographical indications, vegetarian options, vegan options, options that respect religion and food choices, portions, food well-being, and local products purchased. A second point regards the food waste management, in particular, single-dose packages and single-use products, leftovers, recycling, drinkable water, tablecloths and napkins, recyclable, for example, hand towels, composting, recovery of waste oils and fats, and glass. Section 3 is energy, renewable energy, decarbonization, climate control, lighting, high energy performance of the building, and energy efficiency in the kitchen. The role of the dietitian was, in particular, professional reference, local reference on sustainability, and food expert on the health certification, training, control, and certification of the restaurateurs to initiate a path of adoption towards food sustainability, so that he in turn can educate customers, demonstrating that even simple practice, if repeated only on a daily basis, can have a significant impact towards sustainable transition. Another project is the study of the nutritional aspect associated to the sustainability of in a new food atlas, in particular reporting Ligurian traditional recipes. Ligurian cuisine is very adherent to the Mediterranean model, and you can see some of the local products in Ligurian diet. You can see vegetable, extra virgin olive oil, fish, nuts and pine nuts, quindi moderate consumption of meat, eggs, and low-fat cheese, low salt intake and presence of aromatic herbs, and the presence of polyphenols, in particular antioxidant, in a lot of Ligurian products. So the model of Ligurian cuisine is a Mediterranean model, and so we can see that Ligurian diet is a healthy diet, rich of plant-based products, respect the seasonality, promotes biodiversity, and it is a genuine products which have undergone few processing steps. So it is a healthy diet. We can say also a sustainable diet. But In particular, the project goals is to carry out a more punctual nutritional assessment, but also create an atlas of Ligadian recepts with the calculation of the sustainability. This is the methods of the composition of the atlas, and this is the results. For example, you can see this typical plate in Ligurian cuisine, and we have the atlas with the little portion, the medium portion, and the large portion, and with the nutritional characteristics. And you can see also the emission of carbonic anhydride related to this plate. This is a second plate, the difference of the dimension of the portions and the difference of emission of carbonic anhydride. With this method, we can to select the more sustainable plates, and we have to be conscious of the nutritional power, but not only, and also the environmental impact of our plate. The project is intended to be a model to be carried out also in other Italian regions in order to compare traditional dishes in terms of the sustainability of the raw materials used and the preparation. It aims to enhance the role of the dietitian, the puzzle tile with connect well-being tradition, local products, and respect of environment. And what about you? Every person can contribute to improve in the future of our planet, becoming, for example, a food hero by FAO. Who is a food hero? Is a person that adopts an healthier, more sustainable diet by only what he needs. Pick ugly fruits and vegetables, store food wisely, understand the food labeling, start small, love your leftovers, and put her food waste to use. Respect food, support the local food producer, keep fish population afloat, use less water, keep soils and water clean, eat more pulses and veggies, and sharing is caring. Thank you for your attention.